had the
Well, star
tattoos. How many star tattoos
4?
do you have? What? You're four-star junkie.
That's what that means.
What's the significance?
No significance whatsoever. I thought they looked cool, and I thought maybe it would help you get chicks, probably.
All right, I'm gonna go. You'll see a fade here in a second.
Is this where we fade in?
Ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Are we ready? Are we
Ready?
Are we?
Be go what?
Yeah. All right. Hey, everybody. We are at the illustrious Venture X Studios in Frisco.
Uh-oh.
Love those guys. Got to give them a plug, always. We are here and doing this show called This Pink Cloud.
Is that what this is?
This Pink Cloud.
I thought this was a fever dream.
Yeah, right.
Terrible.
Yeah, I was dude. I woke up. I was sweating.
I thought I was still in detox.
I think you're probably having a little maybe hot flashes with your bang.
Are you supposed to drink 7 of them?
Possibly. You know, it just depends on your tolerance. And we were discussing about your tattoo there that you are that stands for that you were a 4-star junkie.
Boom. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4.
Boom, dude.
Super common tattoo. What?
And then it goes into buckwheat in a headlock.
Is it
up here? No.
Oh, because the armpit hair
with the fro. Yeah. Anyway, so we are season 2, episode 10.
Yep.
Episode 10. So we have not. We were off last week.
Yeah,
technically.
Sort of, kind of, sort of.
Yeah. So what's been going on besides? Let me compliment your wardrobe.
You like these jeans?
That is fascinating.
You like my Coach sandals?
I like how it highlights your package and everything. It looks good. Now I'm talking about your shirt.
Oh, okay.
So let's see.
You want to see this?
Yeah, let's see that. Let's get a good camera shot. So now
flex on it.
There you go. Dude. Wait, show the star. Show the star.
Oh.
There you go. Oh, there you go.
Some
nice.
No, not really.
But yeah, these shirts are now out, kids. So if you go to Kelly Reverb or DJKellyReverb.com, one of these shirts can be yours. And it actually says there is no magic pill for sobriety. If there was, we would all take too many. And the Pink Cloud logo on the back.
The one and only.
And they are Hanes, but you know, hey, is it comfortable?
Yeah, man. It's Hanes. It's a Hanes t-shirt.
There you go.
It's
well, you know, there's a t-shirt snobs out there. And, well, you don't have a Bella.
They gotta be.
Yeah.
And Marty t-shirts.
They've got to be a certain thread count, and anyway. But it's a functional shirt. It survived the wash.
Might I go out on a limb and say, if you care about the thread count of your t-shirts, then there are other problems that we can address.
That's a whole other show.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Well, so anyway, we are a show, just in case you're tuning in, we are a show that is here to help you obtain and maintain sobriety.
Yeah,
right?
and maybe have some laughs and entertain along the way too.
Exactly.
If possible.
So, plugs out of the we also have to plug our lovely sponsor, Summer Sky.
Summer Sky, Stephenville, Texas. It is an inpatient treatment center for alcohol and drug abuse.
Yes.
And www.summersky.us is the website there. But yeah, good facility, very affordable. Where Kelly and I met.
That's right.
Many people we know have been through that facility.
And many people have been back through that
A
facility.
few have come back. You're allowed to go more than once if need be.
Right.
Everybody
I'm
needs...
trying to keep it at one time.
Hey.
So, and speaking of that, I have made 8 months myself.
Hey, I'm creeping up on 9.
Yeah.
We are creeping there, but hey,
Thank you. Thank you.
That's
thank
8.
No,
that
thank you.
That is 8 months longer than
than my previous record of 3 days.
But yeah, it's funny you mentioned going back to Summer Sky or whatever. I mean, in all seriousness, though, this is it's one of those things where a lot of people don't get it on the first go round.
There is something called, and I like this word, recidivism.
Recidivism.
Recidivism?
I think it's vism.
Oh,
Let's Google.
The professor is challenging me.
Yeah, it's a proper challenge.
If I just said it real quick, recidivism, then there you go. Oh, okay.
Recidivism.
Yeah. Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh man, I've been mispronouncing it this whole time.
That's all right. That's what the professor's for.
Well, there we
That's
go.
my only
Okay,
skill
now I know.
in life.
Now I'm going to have that in my head and go, man, I've been saying it wrong all along.
It's all right. I don't know how to spell restaurant, so.
Well, there you go. So besides our day count, month count,
Sure.
all that stuff, in the off season of a week, I actually became an RSPS.
It sounds made up.
Yes.
No, I'm just kidding. So explain to the folks what RSPS stands for. What does that mean?
Well, basically,
congratulations. I do know what it means, so congratulations.
Thank
We're
you.
creeping along the way, something I know you're really excited about. So tell
Right.
the folks what that means.
So RSPS is, wait, hold on. No, I'm just kidding now. Recovery Support Peer Specialist.
Yes.
So basically, it's like a recovery coach.
Mm-hmm.
We stay in our own lane. We help people out that are, newly sober or trying to get sober.
Yep.
So you basically have your 3 lanes. You have your counselor lane, which I am not.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have your sponsor lane if you choose to go the 12-step method.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have little old me.
Mm-hmm.
And, I basically will, give you resources and try to feel you out to, find out what the best path
Yeah.
for you to become sober, would be. And I mean, it's definitely, I would go, Nolen, I don't, yeah, exactly. Nolen, now, you seem to have a problem with that, right? And,
Nah, man, I don't want to.
right. But, no, it's definitely, it's totally, completely different from being a counselor
Sure.
because I'm not giving them drug advice
Yep.
or anything like that. And then it's also no 12-step involved.
Mhm.
I mean, you can say, hey, you should talk.
Refer
if you-
people to
yeah,
meetings and
yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Take them to meetings. Even
Right,
in some
yeah,
cases.
yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
I know what you mean. You're not
I'm
teaching
not
someone
their
about the 12
sponsor.
steps.
I am not their sensei in that, arena,
Well,
if you will.
from what I understand about the whole peer specialist is so there are facilities here in the DFW area and really all over probably the nation, but I know certainly in Texas, there are a lot of state-sponsored facilities
Right.
that you can, when I say facilities, I mean inpatient treatment centers.
Sure.
And some outpatient too, but state-sponsored, so you can go to them for free. You don't have insurance and money.
Right.
Yeah. Homeward Bound in Dallas.
Well, actually, I'm talking about that. I am going, like I said, I'm going to the jungle, baby.
Well, and that's
and I'm going to actually do
Yeah.
my internship, hopefully at Homeward Bound.
Well,
and that's as real as it gets.
Yeah,
right
well,
there.
that's what I was getting at is, a lot of times, like, I've been through, the one in Fort Worth is affectionately called Pine Street. It's not its actual name. I believe
Right.
the actual name is like Tarrant County MHMR, nothing fun, but we call it Pine Street.
Right.
We is in the.
What does
the
MHMR
drug addict
stand
community.
for? Hold on.
Mental health, mental retardation.
Oh, okay.
It's just the branch of.
Can they use that word anymore?
It's in there, that's what the R stands for.
All right.
But it's just the branch of the state government that runs it. But anyways, the people that were coming through there, like myself, had really run their lives into the ground.
You did?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, I certainly
I haven't heard about that.
No, maybe you haven't.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, just what I'm getting at though is it's not like you were coming out. These folks were not coming out of the facility with a whole bunch of support and resources.
Sure,
all
yeah.
lined up.
Well, I mean, basically, just in case y'all don't know, Nolen, this guy right here, 107 pounds, correct?
At one point, yep, 107.
107, homeless, living behind a CVS, IV user,
Yep.
user of whatever was there, pretty much.
Yeah, predominantly
And
heroin
and
cocaine.
he lived in a tent because the guy in the van wouldn't let you live in the van with him.
I couldn't
So
be
you lived in your own tent behind
It was a
CVS.
broken down RV that he
Right.
had. A little better thing. No, I mean, and many other weird places to live, but the and that's not an uncommon story.
Sure. And so you went to Homeward Bound?
Yeah,
or
I went to
whatever,
Homeward
Pine
Bound
Street?
once. I went
Yeah.
to Pine Street quite a few times.
Uh-huh.
5 times, I think.
Right.
but you know, like I said, these places, a lot of the folks that come, not all of them, some folks go through there and do have support and resources coming out, but a lot of them don't.
Right.
You know, they've either been cut off from their families, like myself. They've just, you know, tried so many times and failed that everybody is just done with their nonsense.
They just,
Yeah, you know, show me.
Yeah, show me that you actually want it.
Yeah.
And then,
Come talk to me when you've been sober a while,
Right,
instead of
yeah.
just straight out of treatment.
Sure.
So, you know, the peer specialist is really cool because it's someone who can help that person find some support and find some resources.
Yeah, find a
instead of
path.
just opening up the door on day 28. Like,
Right.
Hey, there you go. You know, you came straight off the streets. It's like, where do I go now? Just back to the streets? Good luck staying
Right,
sober.
and that's kind of
living
the
in a
whole-
tent behind
That's
CBS.
that's kind of the whole point of this show.
Yeah.
Is to be, you know, a resource of information to let people know that they're, you know, because all of this stuff that I've learned since I've been sober, I had no idea existed. I had no idea that there was, you know, smart recoveries. My boys skate straight. You know, and that there's multiple pathways to recovery, and it's whatever you know you feel the best fit is for yourself.
Sure.
And basically, as a peer specialist, I'm a liaison. To you know, I'm a resource broker is one of the things they say.
Yeah, well, my experience with them, with the peer specialists in Pine Street were, I mean, they would do some very specific stuff for patients, like, you don't have a license, let's go
Right.
get you a license.
Right, exactly.
You don't, you don't have a car, but you need transportation back and forth, let's go get you a bus pass and find the bus schedule that'll get you from your halfway house to work.
Sure.
Or what,
Yeah.
you don't have a place
Yeah,
to live, let's get you a halfway
I'm
house.
required to do homework.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see here, let me.
But that's really cool, because
Let me
that
bust
kind of
let me
stuff-
bust off an acronym for you.
Okay.
This is
But
an
before you do that, I just want to say
Okay.
that's really cool that you get to do that, because I'm telling you, that kind of stuff is so critical. I can't tell you how many times I would come out of a facility really excited about the chance at life again. And then I would hit some weird roadblock because of the wreckage I created, like not
Right.
having a license or a job or whatever.
Right.
And then would just get disheartened and would just be like, man, what's the point? I
Right.
have so far to go to get back to being a real human.
Sure.
What's the point? And
Right.
you can help bridge that gap. And
Well, yeah, I mean, it can
it's gonna
definitely be frustrating because, like, not everybody, you know, like you said, I mean, these people are in dire straits
Yeah.
and, you know, have nothing like license
Yeah.
and no way to get around and they can't afford an Uber.
Yeah.
You know, and all that kind of stuff. So, you know.
So
I
it's
mean,
gonna be really cool. You get to do that. That's really
But
cool.
are you ready for the acronym?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Rampart.
Rampart. Okay.
Yes. So resource.
Like the national anthem, the ramparts. What is a rampart?
Well, come on, Professor.
Is it like I assume it's something military. I'm gonna go with.
I'm thinking it's a cannon of some sort.
Yeah, that's what I would say. Like a line of cannons would be my guess.
Okay.
but
Well, you work on that, and I'll go ahead
Yes,
and
let's hear your
and
acronym.
disseminate my
I
knowledge.
apologize.
Yes, that's okay. R is resource broker. A, advocate. M, motivator. P, problem solver. A, I'm like oh yeah, ally and confidant.
Okay.
And then R, because I wrote it going down. Yeah. So I'm like, and then R is role model, and T is truth teller,
Truth teller.
which I am.
Hey, you know.
I think you know, and I mean I like all that, and I can do that.
And for the folks at home, a rampart is a defensive wall of a castle or walled city.
Ah, I should know that from the '80s video game, Rampart. Do you remember that? Yeah,
No.
yeah,
I don't
where
know
you
this
shoot
one.
cannons and try to defend your castles.
Well, that you should have known. I don't know that one. But,
Okay.
no, but I mean, you know, that's really cool that you get to get in there and do that. It's going to be an honor. You're going to get to meet some people that, you know, and so this disease, I've said it before, I think once or twice on the show, but there are places in this city where this disease is winning. The disease
Oh.
of addiction is winning.
Well, every time I go to Skate Straight,
Yeah.
there's like people go, my mom, so cute, asks, she goes, where is Tent City? And I'm like, yeah, Mom, it's all over Dallas.
Yeah.
I was taking her downtown, and I was like, Mom, there's a Tent City. There's a Tent City. There's a Tent City. So, it's all over.
Yeah, and the disease just, it just sucks the life out of people. They have these like shells of humans that are just sort of walking around.
Sure.
And over time in facilities like Homeward Bound and Pine Street and some other ones, the lights come back on in their eyes, their spirit gets lit up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be really cool to be able to see that in other people. And yeah, it's going to be an honor. It really
Yeah, no, for sure. And hopefully, I can help some folks.
Yeah,
so
you definitely will
forward.
be able to help some folks.
I will be looking forward to that. So, what else? What have I missed with you in the past week? Anything fun?
Anything fun?
Been working. I've been shoot. Anything? No, I have been. Let's see. I'm trying to think of something that might be
fun and
well.
airworthy.
I've been kind of transitioning into like I've had a lot of days that are pretty peaceful days, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like at the end of the night when I do my sort of take a look at the day inventory thing.
Sure.
A lot of these days have just been like, yeah, I guess it was a pretty good day.
Yeah.
It's been for so long, it's been either all the way up here or all the way down there and a whole lot of this.
Sure.
And I'm kind of getting a little bit level.
Even keel.
A little
if
bit
you
even
will.
keel. Not
All
every
right.
day, but, it's they're becoming more regular days
Right.
like that, which is kind of nice. I'm trying to find some balance in the time that I spend in different places, and just trying to slow down a little bit. And anyways, that's been helpful. I guess that from a recovery standpoint, that's what I've been working on a lot.
And trying to get your stimulus check routed to the correct bank account.
That's never going to happen. That's never going to happen. Well, but that's a good point. Actually, that's kind of what I mean. Like, so financially, coming into sobriety, I'm a ruin.
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
coming off of a divorce that has absolutely ruined me financially, which was of my own, fault.
Right.
I would rather it be me ruined than me and my wife and ex-wife and children. But
Right.
But yeah, it's ruined me financially, and I would let that get on top of me for days at a time, and just be so upset and angry and depressed about money for days at a time. And I'm getting to a point now where it just doesn't bother me. It's just going to be what it's going to be.
Right.
God's going to work that out for me in one way or another. And whatever way that does, it doesn't matter. My job is to just try and do the right thing as I see it, and the chips are going to fall where they fall. But yeah, that stimulus thing, that ain't going to happen. There's no way I'm getting that deal. The IRS is impossible to
they don't understand that y'all used to have a joint account and now you don't, and they don't get that. So
no.
maybe next pandemic and next stimulus check.
I'll be ready
if that's going to be a regular thing.
I think the end of the world is gonna continue to be a regular thing.
Right.
We're gonna keep needing stimuluses. No, it's it would be nice to get that check. I certainly could use it, but I don't think I'm gonna. So
right. Yeah.
So we'll see. But yeah, nothing big going on with me, Kelly. But yeah, like I said already a couple of times, that's really cool that you get to do that. I hope
I'm
you're
excited
about it, and you'll get to relate to them. Maybe you never lived in a tent or whatever.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, the thing is where I do relate is I know what it's like to be addicted.
Yeah, it's all about the feelings, man.
How crappy it was, man.
It's all about the feelings. And something I learned a long time ago that is so true is that everybody's pain is relative. Like, it's real easy for someone to look at, someone like me when I'm at my worst, 107 pounds, begging for change at a racetrack, whatever, right?
Right.
It's easy to look at me and be like, oh, man, I could never do that. But what happens is so I've been that guy, and I've also been the guy that was in a $350,000 house upstairs in my man cave with surround sound and a 70-inch plasma TV, my beautiful, family around me, and dying on the inside. They both felt the same.
Yeah.
They both felt the exact same.
Right.
So it doesn't matter. The circumstances are just the circumstances around you. It's about that that pain on the inside.
Right.
And your pain on the inside is the exact same as that other guy's pain on the inside. So you stay in that lane, man, they'll relate to you.
Yeah. No, so and obviously what you found that helps you is, you mentioned earlier, your higher power.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And, to segue into that, I jokingly call this guy
your higher power. Yeah.
Just the bobblehead, not the actual individual. It's just the bobblehead.
Yeah. We have no use for the actual Jim Bob, just the statue.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's got a bobblehead, and I don't.
Yeah.
Or no, hold on, and we don't.
It's impressive.
Yet.
I am super jealous of that.
Yeah. But we've got him in on our Zoomy thing all the way from Haco, Texas. And I said it correct. Haco.
I used to go on a road trip with a friend of mine when I was really young to a ranch out in Hamilton, and we would always pass through Haco, and every time we'd pass through, we'd get the hiccups, and as a joke, we called it Haco, the hiccup town.
Nice.
So that's my experience with Haco.
Well, and then I always thought, I was like, dude, that's a good name for a band. And Jim Bob said, oh no, it's a good name for a dog. But anyway, so this guy is one of my idols in sobriety. No, he really is.
Yeah. All right.
Because he has a very intriguing story that we'll get to, but I mean the craziest part of it is the long-term sobriety that he had, and then just boom, right back in it, you know, and it's very intriguing. So, not to speak and tell your entire story, Jim Bob, you're looking very handsome today, sir.
Good morning, guys.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning. Good to see you.
I was kind of thinking you might be in your full regalia, like your Texas flag shirt with the hat on.
I tried to tone it down a little bit.
Hey, sometimes you gotta tone it down.
I didn't want the ego taking over this morning.
That's hard to do,
right? And then if you can't really tell by this, he looks like this little old sweet man, and he's like, what, 6'5", and like just can bench press a desk, and I was surprised by his stature when I met him.
Yeah, I definitely didn't after being in so many Zoom meetings with you, I didn't see 6'5" coming at me. So,
right?
Yeah, big fella.
Well, 6'5" is a little stretch, guys.
Is it?
Maybe 6'3".
6'3"? Okay.
Well, 6'5" with the hat on.
Yeah, that's true. The hat adds a couple.
Yeah, with the hat.
So we've brought you up several times because of the bobblehead. I guess why don't you introduce yourself to the folks? Give us a little background on how it started and how you wound up to that magical day in Australia.
Yeah. Well, I don't have anything exciting. I'm just a garden variety drunk, but I probably started at about 11 years of age. I always like to tell everybody I waited as long as I could before I started.
Yeah, 11. Yeah, right.
I needed a drink before I took one. That's for sure.
Yeah. Honestly, the first time I ever drank, I knew I liked it. Mm-hmm. And, of course, by the time I was in high school, I was an everyday drinker, and it just continued to get worse and worse.
Now, did you grow up there in Haco?
No. I actually I grew up in the Texas Panhandle in a community about half the size of Pico, a little town called Happy, Texas.
Okay. Yeah, I know where you're at. I got family out in La Mesa.
Yeah. We're north of La Mesa.
Yeah.
We're kind of snuggled in there between Lubbock and Amarillo.
Mm-hmm.
So Flatlander. That's what I am. I'm a Flatlander.
Yeah, that is some Flatlander.
Yeah. You can watch your dog run away for 3 weeks, man.
I like that.
Yeah.
So, but and I grew up on a farm and ranch, and I lost my dad at a real young age when I was 11. I certainly don't think that that's what caused me to become an alcoholic. I think I probably always was an alcoholic, but I just didn't know it until I took that first drink. Now that I've had a chance to look back at it, but by the time I was in high school, I was an everyday drinker. Typical alcoholic story. I drank my way out of college, drank my way out of a few good jobs, drank and drugged. Alcohol is my drug of choice, but anything that I could ingest through my mouth or up my nose, I've done it.
Yeah.
But I always went back. What I found out was that the cocaine and the crank and the meth and all that stuff, that just allowed me to drink longer.
Yeah,
exactly. Well, that's why you take trucker speed and all that good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
you can party
so you can ingest
well,
more.
And one thing I always, I heard someone say it once, and I really related to it. I mean, I'm IV heroin addict. I anything I would say I'm an addict towards, but I often go just straight to alcoholism because it didn't matter. There were times in my life where I had a cocaine problem. There's times in my life where I was smoking too much marijuana. There's times in my life where I was taking hallucinogens. I've had heroin, pills, whatever. But in all of those times, alcohol was always on the table. It didn't matter whether I was doing too much cocaine or smoking too much weed or taking too many pills. I was also drinking too much in all of those, So that's the most consistent one.
Well, and for me, I mean, I always found directions to the dope house at the bottom of the bottle. When the bottle ran dry, then I was looking for something else, and that continued on for a good number of decades. I drank my way through some pretty good jobs. I drank my way through several marriages, about a handful of them. I've been told I have enough ex-wives to bait a trot line with.
He's a little,
give me a number. What's the number?
Little Texas playboy in him there. Little Jackie Bibi syndrome.
Yeah. Me and Jackie got a lot in common, man. I'm on number 5.
Okay.
Right now.
All right. That's respectable.
Yeah, I'm on number 5, and we've been together for about 12 years. We were actually engaged way back in the 80s to be married. I've known this girl since the early 80s. And,
is that your current wife?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, you can say her name if you want to.
Yeah, Cindy. She's
Well, of course. The woman behind the man.
Yeah, she's a saint because Lord knows I ain't.
I got to balance you out some kind of way.
But we were actually engaged to be married, and then she just kind of dropped me like a hot potato. And
the way you were obviously taking a detour of your own.
Yeah. No doubt you deserve it.
Right.
Yeah, and I always, I thought it's so funny. She grew up here, and I would fly into Love Field from Amarillo, and she'd drive into town and pick me up, and and she'd always look so funny at me when I was opening a beer up at 7:00 in the morning. And I thought,
Yeah, I mean, what's wrong with that? Start the day off, dude. Yeah, a little beer for breakfast, dude. Yeah.
Wait until 7, geez, man.
Yeah, and it's just beer.
And I've had my eyes open for at least 10 minutes.
Well, it's just beer. Beer's not even really alcohol.
Yeah.
It's just beer.
No.
Right.
You know, I got to the point I didn't even like beer.
Yeah.
I mean, I drank so much of it, I got to the point I didn't even like it. But that, you know, that continued on. You know, I've never got into any serious trouble with the law. Certainly been handcuffed and taken to jail a few times, but never any criminal charges, never any DUIs, nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I never really suffered any consequences, and that might have been one of the reasons I was able to hang on so long. But,
that's why he got the longevity that you had as far as
No, I think you're right.
And I mean that was the same with me. I mean it was just going to keep going. It wasn't going to stop at all.
Yeah.
You know.
But you know, we hear about it in the rooms all the time. You know, I just had this huge void in me, and I guess I was trying to fill it with alcohol. At least at one time I was.
And how did that work?
Varying degrees of success.
Yeah, right.
Is the answer. Yeah.
I mean, it worked real well for a long time. I mean, alcohol, my friend, it's what got me through a lot of stuff. It kept me alive.
Sure.
But then came that fateful day when it wasn't working anymore. And, you know, I like to call it the gift of desperation, you know.
Right.
I was just, I remember I always kept plenty of vodka on hand, always had plenty. And I mean, my typical routine was I would wake up about 4 o'clock in the morning with the shakes and the cold sweats and everything. And I'd get up and sit on the side of the bed, and as long as I was sitting down, I was okay. But as soon as I stood up, that gut would start rumbling. I'd get the dry heaves. I'd go out in my backyard and dry heave for about 10 or 15 minutes. Then it got so bad, guys, that I would be shaking so bad that I would have to put a towel around my neck and hold the bottle in one hand and the towel in the other and pull the bottle to my lips because I was shaking.
Wow,
like
man.
a stabilizer. That's
yeah. And
that's
you know,
impressive and crafty. Isn't it?
Yeah, right. I'm imagining the engineering behind that.
Whatever you got to do.
Yeah, sure.
Well, you know, when you want to drink, you do about whatever you have to.
Sure.
But you know, I'd get that first drink down and light a cigarette, and then it was, you know, it was just nonstop from then on all day.
Sure.
I was I always said it was like Bill Murray in Groundhog Day.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and you shared a story with me one time where you would one of those times when you weren't prepared with the vodka that you would go back out to the trash and then dig for the bottles. Oh, well, shoot, there's still some left.
You know, just try to get a little bit, you know, out of the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I used to, when I lived over in Granbury, I had a real good friend that had he ran a beer joint out in Fort Springs, and me and him became pretty good friends. We used to go up and to the north side in Fort Worth and party every once in a while. But
did you ever run into Nolen?
I doubt it.
We'll have to talk some more. I'm surprised I didn't run into Nolen at Pine Street a few times. We'll talk about that.
Maybe we did too. I was in a bit of a daze.
Yeah, I hear Nolen like once when he comes in fresh meat style, he's a little quiet.
Yeah.
Not in a talkative mood.
No, you know, I just woke up. I woke up one morning and at, the usual time, about 4 a.m., and I had a full liter of vodka. And I thought, I looked at it and I said, okay, I'm good. Liquor store opens at 10. I'll be all right. And I don't know what was going on, man, but I mean, that liter of vodka was gone by about 7 a.m.
Wow.
It was gone. And I was just, in a panic. Y'all know what that obsession is like.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
When an alcoholic doesn't have anything to drink, man,
it's problems. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually a health risk too. A warning to those people that try to do it on your own. If you're to that level, don't do it on your own.
No, I know exactly what you're describing.
Yeah.
It's one of those days where I can't get enough in me to satisfy the obsession, to turn it off. Like at a certain point, you get enough in you to turn it off, and you're like, all right, we're good. And then you go do whatever you need to do.
Sure.
But yeah, you just can't hit that mark.
It's one of my favorite passages in the Big Book, and it's in chapter A Vision for You. Mm-hmm. And I could open it up and read it verbatim, but it basically says, there will come a day when you cannot imagine your life with or without alcohol.
Yeah.
And it says at that time you will be at the jumping off point. Mm-hmm. You will wish for the end. You will know loneliness like you've never known it before. Yeah. Something to that effect.
It was close enough.
Forgive me for paraphrasing.
No, you were close enough.
No, point taken.
Yeah. But yeah, no, you can't. The way I always describe it is like 50% of me wanted so bad to never have to do this crap ever again. To never have to drink or do drugs. And then the other 50% of me just wanted to do a little bit more.
Right.
Just.
Well, what he said is I couldn't imagine life without it. Yeah. I mean, that resonates with me. Big time. Are you trying to break the set now?
Yes.
Nolen? Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to tear it down.
But yeah, that resonates with me huge. Because I had no idea how I was gonna make it 5 days, much less 30 days, much less who are all these people that are sober? How do they even make it 6 months? I mean, how can I make it past a week?
When I would go into meetings, Alcoholics Anonymous meetings, and see people that had been sober long periods of time,
right?
I was like, you didn't do it like I did it.
Right.
That you didn't do it like I did it. Maybe you drank a little bit too much or something, and someone. Your wife told you need to slow, and then you came to AA. That's cute. Either you didn't do it like I did it, or you're lying.
Yeah.
Or you're lying.
I think
one of those two.
I think, you probably had a drink before you came here. Yeah.
But that describes exactly where I was. I could not imagine life with alcohol or without it.
Right.
And I was ready to die. And I was that miserable. And I mean, imagine 6'3", and I know Kelly's going to show it in a little while, but at that time, I probably weighed around 350 or so.
Well, while you brought it up, we might as well show the picture that. But it's my graffiti version. I did a couple edits on it, so enjoy my knowledge of.
Do some photoshopping.
A little artwork here.
Oh,
hold on, just one second. I did some caption writing, basically.
The funny guy that he is.
Yeah.
Well, it was so funny because we were Jim Bob and I were on IOP, and he had sent a picture, and then the next day I did my little artwork on here. So this is Jim Bob before, and you're saying this is obviously my text. I want some effing chocolate. I can't see my pud. And then the picture. I love the picture because it's kind of looking at him.
Yeah.
You poor old sack of shit.
Well, no doubt you look better now. No doubt about that.
Well,
but I'll tell you what, you wear the weight not so bad when you're 6'3".
Yeah.
You know? I mean,
What? How much were you there, Jim Bob, in the before?
I was probably north of 350.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you were
But,
handsome either way,
and-
but probably not so healthy the other way.
Sure.
Right. But I mean, I was a sack of shit. I was sick, sorry, and sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was sick, sorry, and sad that morning, and so imagine that 6'3", 350-pound guy laying on the floor, curled up in a fetal position, bawling like a baby,
Mm-hmm.
and I said, man, God, the gig is up. I said, I cannot continue to live this way. And the woman I was married to at the time, she was actually in recovery. She'd been sober about 7 or 8 months, I guess. And
That must have been weird for her to be around somebody actively using, and
it probably was, but you know what? I mean, that's how selfish and self-centered we are. I didn't
Sure.
give a
Right.
damn.
Yeah, sure.
You know, I wasn't
did she ever
hurting her.
buy you? Did she ever buy you bottles, or just go, okay, Jim Bob, I know
No.
you need
No, she
Here's
probably
your-
just left
here's
him
your-
to his own devices.
right.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I'll walk by and just poke him with a stick, make sure he's alive.
Anyway, we called around and you know, I said I got to do something. I can't continue. And
Uh-huh.
so we called around and finally found a place that would take my insurance, and it not Summer Sky this time, but Hughley over in Burleson.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's where my daughter was born.
I went over there and I was so relieved when they told me they had room for me. I was so relieved. And of course, by this time, it's about 10 o'clock in the morning, and I was so relieved. I thought, you know, maybe I should just have one more drink, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, yeah.
So I did. I went to the liquor store and bought another bottle. And we sat out in the parking lot of the emergency room over in Burleson while I finished it off. And anyway, I went through detox there, spent about, 6 or 7 days in detox, and then they let me loose, and they actually had us locked in. We could not get outside of the building at all.
Yeah, that's how they used to do it. Yeah.
And when my wife came to pick me up, the nurse, you know, escorted me to the door. She unlocked it and let me out. And then she shut the door, and I heard that lock click, and that was the scariest damn sound I'd ever heard in my life.
You're like, oh crap, no more alcohol. was that the fear that came across you?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh crap, I can't get to my bottle.
No, it's the other way
And-
around when they let him go.
Oh,
That's what you're saying.
I got you. Sorry.
And they let me go. I was crap. I'm back out in the real world
Oh,
now.
I can get to my bottle.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
And so anyway, I went home and stayed in bed for about 4 or 5 days. I mean, I'd get up to go to the bathroom, maybe try to get something to eat, and that was it.
Yeah.
And
Afraid to
one
leave.
day
Afraid of what you might do.
yeah. And my wife asked me, she said, "Is this how you're going to live the rest of your life?" And I said, "Maybe." I said, I don't want to drink again, but I said, I know if I leave, I know I'll be at the liquor store.
Mm-hmm.
And so she said, "Well, why don't you go to an AA meeting with me?" And she said, if you don't like it, you don't have to do it, but just go with me one time and try. And so I went, and, you know, there was 10 or 15 people there, and I got a desire chip, and and they had like a step 1, 2, 3 meeting or whatever. And the meeting was over with and we were going home, and she said, well, what do you think? And I said, well, I'm kind of pissed off at you. And she said, why are you pissed off at me? I said, you've been down here telling those people my stories for the last month. And she said, why do you say that? And I said, hell, they were talking about me.
Yeah.
I said, every story they told was about me. And she said, no. She said, I promise you they were talking about themselves.
Well, it sure sounds like me.
Yeah. I guess she had a little Al-Anon in her because then she said, well, if you don't believe me, she said, why don't you come back again tomorrow night? I said, by God, I will.
Don't challenge me.
I went back the next night, and I'll be damned if they weren't talking about me again. And so, it finally kind of sunk in on me that maybe these people did drink like I did. I was like Nolen, there's no way these people drink like I drank.
Yeah,
right.
By this time I had 7 or 8 days sober. Some of the fog was starting to lift. And so anyway, I gave AA a chance. And, man, I went to 3 meetings a day. They had meetings at 10 in the morning, noon, and at 8 o'clock at night. And I was at every one of them. For probably the first 9 months, I was sober.
Sure. Yeah.
And,
I'd say the first 6 months or so for me when I got sober that first time. Yeah.
And I fell in love. I fell in love with sobriety. I fell in love with that group of people, and I started at a very early. At 6 months sober, I started going with a group of guys. We carried meetings into Pine Street every week. Every Thursday night, go to Pine Street and carry a meeting, and we did that. Oh God, we did that for almost 5 years before one of our group pissed somebody off and they wouldn't let us come back anymore. Imagine that happening with a group of AA people. But anyway, yeah, I love sobriety. I was very active, both in the group and on the district and area level. Got into service work, did a lot of 12-step calls, and
I think we're getting to the point where I'm like excited. Like this is like you're just for time's sake, I want to jump. But
you were 10 minutes.
You were sober for what, like 10 years after this? So like you went to detox and you went to AA and got clean and started.
Yeah, I'm interested in this part too. I know we kind of share some similarities here, and we've never really got a chance to kind of talk about it with one another. So
my wife likes to remind me on occasion that I was sober 11 years, 8 months, and 2 days.
Okay,
right.
And but I remember. The night that I picked up my 10-year chip, and we talked about it in IOP one night. But I was standing behind the podium looking at that 10-year chip, and I didn't say it out loud, but I thought to myself, man, I'll never drink again. I got to.
Right.
Yeah.
And, and in reality, that's probably when the relapse started then.
Yeah.
Right.
I thought I had it under control, instead of going. And at this time in my recovery, I'm doing like 4 or 5 meetings a week. I'm not going every day, but I'm doing at least 4, sometimes 5 meetings a week.
That's a good program.
Right.
Very active. Got a sponsor,
It's a good program.
2 or 3 times a week. Great spiritual life. Praying twice a day, at least. And, all those things just started to slip away from me.
Yeah.
The next thing I knew, I was only going on birthday night, maybe 1 meeting a week, maybe 1 meeting a month, calling my sponsor maybe once a week, maybe once a month. You know.
So you're basically saying like that the vigilance just backed off and you let your guard down, and then basically, you know, I don't mean to tell your story for you, but you're in a hotel room in Australia, panoramic view, right?
So
Working a big money job, and what's going? Oh, go ahead.
well, I
Nolan.
was just going to say, so at that point that Kelly's talking about, when you get there, what are you doing, if anything, for recovery? Are you still doing anything?
No.
No. At that point, it's nothing. Not even prayer.
At
Not
that
even
point,
speaking with God, or
absolutely nothing. No meetings. I mean, I'm probably
Jim Bob is back driving the bus.
yeah,
Oh yeah, self-will run right.
yeah,
Plus, there were, you know, I talked to Kelly a little bit about this yesterday. I won't go into it, but you know, there was a lot of stuff going on at my job at that time. You know, I had gotten a big promotion. I was, you know, I mean, in my world, I was known internationally. You know, I traveled to Canada and spoke. I traveled to Australia and spoke.
Well, hell, dude, you had a bobblehead made of you.
fair enough.
Yeah, and I had a bobblehead made of it.
Yeah, I mean, what more can you help?
I don't need AA. You know, I got this deal.
Yeah,
And, I was sitting in that big condo on the beach in Australia, and looking out through a big panoramic window at the ocean, and as it says in the big book, not a cloud on the horizon.
mm-hmm.
And I wasn't even thinking about drinking, but I went to go fix me a glass of ice water, and I opened up the freezer, and there was another couple sharing this. It was like a 4-bedroom condo. There was another couple sharing it with me and my wife. And I went and opened up the freezer, and there was a bottle of vodka in that freezer. And I looked at it, and I thought, man, I know where that will take me. I know what that will do for me. That'll fix all this anger and crap that I've got going on. And I said, besides all that, I'm in Australia, man.
Yeah, dude, the vacation
Yeah.
drink, dude.
I deserve it.
Yeah.
After almost 12 years of sobriety, I got this. I can handle this.
Yeah.
I can take a drink. It's not going to hurt me.
Yeah.
I took a drink. And as the car salesman said, I had a feeling maybe that I wasn't making the best decision.
A little buyer's remorse, perhaps.
So-
Just a little feeling there, but yeah, you just push it
This
aside.
was kind of later on in the evening, maybe 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening.
And how many drinks in?
Well, I just had that one drink right then.
Uh-huh.
And then a bunch of us went out that night, and of course we were
Well, yeah, you might as well have a few if you're out with friends, right?
Yeah, I ordered a drink, and I think I actually ended up that night I had 2 drinks. I just kind of nursed them along, you know, and I said, see?
No big deal.
I've made such a big deal out of this.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
A couple of drinks tonight, no big deal.
All right.
And the next night we went out, and I mean, I got hammered.
Yeah.
I got drunk. And walking back to the hotel, I stopped at a liquor store, bought a half gallon, and the next morning I was up at 4 o'clock, and I was right back where I.
Wow,
had
that's
Yeah,
fast.
I
That's
know.
fast. Yeah, that's
Right.
faster than it took me.
No, but I mean, it's just amazing to me that if you're not, you know, and that's the kind of thing that it's kind of scared straight for me. I'm like, man, if this can happen to Jim Bob after 10 years
Yeah.
or 11 years, X amount of months, then man,
Absolutely.
it can happen to me.
Yeah, I couldn't pinpoint what it was like on my end. I know you're talking about like the idea of I got this. I know that was definitely there for me.
I love the Nolen always says, "Well, I'm a grown man, and if I want to drink,
thought.
after work, I can have a drink."
That was the thought.
Yeah.
I mean, I had, when you talked about your promotion, I just started thinking to myself, I think that was a lot of it for me too. I had arrived. I had been this friggin' street kid, and AA had nursed me back to health, and I had stayed sober, and I had done what I'm supposed to do, and I had taken care of business, and now I got a family and a mortgage and a career.
I've earned it.
I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and if I want to have some beers at the end of the day, that's a normal thing that people do. This is not. Yeah. I'm not trying to put,
It just so happens.
I'm not trying to clear the bank account.
It just
out
so
with
happens
cocaine.
that none of us here are normal people.
Yeah. But yeah, I managed
We're what
to
they
hang
call
on.
alcoholics.
I managed to hang on and drink regularly, like a regular person, for maybe 2 months. You were 2 days. I hung on for about 2 months.
Right.
I was 2 days, man. I was right back in the thick of it in 2 days, and I stayed pretty drunk for 2, maybe 3 months, but I was finishing up. I had gone back to college. I was finishing up my degree. I was supposed to graduate in December. This was like in August when I went back, when I took my first drink. And so I don't know, it was probably about mid-November. I thought, I can't do this. I've got to buckle down, finish out my degree plan, and graduate. And I was scheduled to run a half marathon in Houston. So I started going back to AA, and got me a sponsor, and got through and actually did a 4-step and a 5th step with this sponsor, and said, what do I need to do now? And this guy, he said, Jim Bob, he said, I've been going to meetings with you for 11 years. You know what to do.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm not blaming that sponsor or nothing, but I don't know, guys. Maybe I just wasn't done. I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah, well, who knows why we go back, but the thing is it does happen. Mm-hmm. And Jim Bob, I don't mean to cut you off, but we are at the end of our hour.
Yeah.
And I really do appreciate you sharing your story, and I find that compelling that somebody can be sober that long. And I'm just like, I would be in my mind, oh, well, yeah, okay. And that's why I don't understand, like, when I go, to one of the meetings, it's like, I'm sober 26 years. I'm like, well, why the hell are you at a meeting, dude? You know what I mean? And I mean, there's something to be said for practicing and keeping active in your sobriety, because guess what? It's going to sneak back up on you.
Yeah, most people I know that have been sober a long time, they go through ups and downs. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they're real active, sometimes they're not. Not everybody drinks again. Sometimes they just come back to being active. Folks like me and Jim Bob, we drank again.
Right.
So it's just one of those things. You play with fire, you get burned.
At the beginning, y'all were talking about couldn't imagine 20 years or whatever, and I was the same way. And I asked the guy one day, I said, I'm real happy for you in your 20 years, but how the hell am I supposed to stay sober today?
Yeah.
And he probably gave me the best advice that I've ever been given.
Well, let's hear it.
He said, go to a lot of meetings and don't drink between meetings.
That's true. And what they always say is the only step you have to do perfect every day is step 1, right? Yeah. And you and Nolen, go ahead.
No,
I thought you would quote step 1 for.
Powerless over alcohol.
Yeah.
The point being, that what I always say is, like, if this thing is a disease, if we're all accepting that this thing is a disease, which seems to be the widely accepted deal, then I'm a guy who can't drink. That's not going to go well for me. Period.
Right.
And, so if I can't drink, I need to figure out a way to do that, to pull that off.
Sure.
To pull off not drinking. And that's why I do what I do. That's why I attend AA meetings. That's why I do conversations like this with you and Jim
Sure.
Bob and stuff,
Yeah.
you know, because I'm trying to figure out a way not to do that.
Well,
That's it.
Jim Bob, once again,
I was just going to say one more thing,
Uh-huh.
just plug in your sponsor. After 3 years, I went back out and drank another 3 years after I had 90 days sober. And then I went back out and stayed drunk for 3 years. And that's how I gained to know y'all. Is,
the lovely
into,
summer sky.
And I didn't attend with y'all, but we do IOP together. So I'm really grateful to have gotten to know you guys.
Well,
Yeah, you too,
likewise,
Jim
yeah,
Bob.
we would have hung with you definitely. You would have been in the crew.
Yeah.
On the
I'm
inside.
sure our paths will cross again in Stephenville here pretty soon.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, tell them out. Yeah, tell them out in Stephenville hello today, and they'll be excited to actually instead of Big Book study, it's Jim Bob study.
Yeah. Do it.
But thanks again, Jim Bob. Appreciate
guys.
you sharing your story, and you know it's definitely something to watch out for that you can't. You know, hey, it doesn't go away. It's something you have to watch out for on a daily basis because guess what? Alcohol's not going anywhere.
Nope.
Drugs aren't going anywhere.
Nope.
They're always going to be here.
And I seem to have the same reaction to them no matter how long I've stayed away from them.
Well, hey, I guess next week we have some exciting. We actually have CG Kid on again.
Yep.
And it's going to be fun. We will be being filmed.
Yes.
Not just by this crew, but ABC Nightline.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting. And I think what we've decided to do is air the unedited footage.
Y'all will get to see
the behind the scenes,
what we
the
get to
cut,
go through with this.
and hey, can you say that again? But can you say it more serious?
Yeah.
You know, any direction we get, but that'll be fun. And obviously, please go to djkellyreverb.com. Buy your shirts. There is no magic pill for sobriety. Because what?
Because if there was, we'd probably all take too many.
There you go. There you go. So be sure and go to the website, buy that. Tune in next week. Go to thispinkcloud.com. That'll take you to the YouTube channel. Hit subscribe. We love you, and we're here for you. Reach out to us if you need us, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jim Bob. Appreciate you being on, brother.
Yeah, man.
Yep. Thank you guys. I enjoyed it.